BitShares is a world-class blockchain like Bitcoin with a digital currency platform boasting enterprise-level scalability and throughput with separations of power and self-governance baked in. Need the power of a blockchain with the stability of a dollar? We invented it and tested it for 3 years. Want to make a loyalty token, coupon, or shares in your business? We have you covered. Wish to add world-class development? This tech can fund your work. Whether for an everyday entrepreneur or computer-savvy code guru, BitShares provides tools to empower a world of unapologetic innovators to wield and share value with a level of freedom once thought impossible. Meet a community of such innovators every Friday at 2 p.m. UTC, led by Chris Herring and Fuzzy, to play a role in the evolution and advancement of this state-of-the-art project. Welcome to the BitShares revolution. You just leveled up.
Hello everybody, this is Chris4210 and I want to welcome you to another round of the BitShares Hangouts here on the Beyond Bitcoin radio show. This is the 11th episode for the new turn of all talks about BitShares, and today we want to talk about a couple of cool tests and redesigns that are coming up for the BitShares ecosystem. I think you're all aware that we're going to have another new stress test on the 15th of March. I think it's 3 or 4 p.m. We're just going to go through that in a little detail, so we're going to have more stress tests coming up to test the speed and the durability of the BitShares ecosystem. Another thing we're going to talk about today is the redesign. BitShares.org/wallet is getting a new design. It is a community effort here where we are taking the latest designs and we are trying to make a better look and feel, a better user experience. And on the forum, we have a little discussion started about your feedback, what do you think about it. And what I want to do for the after show or end of the radio show today, we got a couple of questions about the fee schedule, and we have a couple of ideas to readjust the fees for the BitShares blockchain. So I want to get started on that today as well. But before we get started with all the details, let's talk about the stress test. So the stress test is scheduled for the 15th of March, 3 p.m. UTC. Everybody can participate. So if you already have a server and that is just idling, just go to the forum and you can find the thread under the BitShares forum, bitsharestalk.org, main general discussions, and then you will find a testnet stress test. And we are looking for active witnesses and people who are participating in the stress test. And what our goal really is with the 15th of March, we want to basically see how many transactions we can pull off with a good set of servers. I think right now we have 8 to 9 people participating. So we're going to have already like a very good solid base. And we're going to contribute also from BitShares Munich with 2 big servers. We're going to really stress the blockchain testnet. But what I would like to go forward with, and that is more like an idea that came up here with BitShares Munich the last couple of days, is a stress test. Yeah, it is a good idea. It is nice. But what if we could basically really try to get a max? So what if you could do, what do we really need to do to say like, okay, you know what, we want to do a max stress test. So to get the biggest machines possible, to coordinate that all, and to get all the people behind, and maybe even modify, I think we need to modify even the code base to get the maximum out of the BitShares stress test. So to say like, okay, we can do in the regular test, we can do 30,000 transactions, but what if we modify a little bit the code, if we get bigger machines, everybody in, and we can get it up to 60,000, 70,000, 80,000. Think about what kind of signal we are going to be able to send out to the blockchain community if you could say, and we can show that with a video live stream, the results of our testnet and say, this is what we can do today with our already existing technologies. And I'm inviting everybody to join this rally, this competition. in a certain way, because I think that's a lot of fun to just try where is the max. So basically, the sky is the limit, and I'm very excited to be part of that. It's going to be next week. Do we have a couple of further questions for the stress test? Who's participating, and do we have a couple of more input about the stress test?
I would ask you, have we considered the potential of helping to maybe get a worker proposal or something to help upgrade those servers for people? Maybe loosen their load a little bit?
I think there are two ways to do it, and I already was talking with Cyril about it. Since we never really did like a really big stress test, I think the best step forward and best move forward is to start with the 15 with a smaller test, and then see how far we can really go, and coordinate the teams, get everybody ready, get everybody maybe on a live mumble session where we can all talk and out the right configurations for the test. And then in the next step, I would like to get started another stress test, maybe a week later, maybe the same Wednesday, where we're gonna go really max. And then we have to see, because after the 15, I think we in the community, we're going to have a very good idea what kind of machines we need. So how big should the machines should be? And then afterwards, I would invite everybody to come together, think about what would be the cost, who would be an appropriate witness, somebody who can maintain and run the server. And then we could basically all come together and say, like, okay, let's get 10 big machines for 1 month. It costs us, I don't know, 4,000 euros. We get a worker for that. And then we really try to get it max. And I think that would be the right way forward to get the best out of the stress test.
Interesting. So you will be able to have like a spec at the end of it for the maximum that we've accomplished.
Yeah, what I think would be cool if we would have a live stream from that. So Sirok already bought this really cool page or made this page called stats.bitches.u /hashtag test. You will find it all in the forum, this link, where you have a live view of the different changes, so of Steam, BitShares, and the BitShares testnet. And what I could imagine is that we're going to have a live stream from the testnet on the 15, and then, of course, also on the big test, so that everybody who is interested can watch it, first of all, live. And then in the second step, we have a video proof that how fast we really could go. And I think with that one, we can really steer up a lot of marketing and a lot of advertisement and attention.
And so, out of curiosity, is there a specific point that you think would be a sweet spot, like where we start getting into where industry players their mouths might start foaming?
I think if you get 500,000, then we are gonna talking in a next really awesome level, and that's actually my personal goal. We really should try to get up to as high as possible, and the code is already ready for that. I think we just need to modify it a little bit, as far as I know, because the graphene code, is actually written to be processed on GPU and not on on a graphic card and not on the chips. So if we modify that a little bit, I think we can even go way beyond 100,000 easily.
Jeez.
And I think this idea of yours about a series of tests is a good idea. And I think we should also, if it's going to be discussed publicly, I would also recommend to highlight it the way you have, that this is the first of a series of stress tests.
Yeah, I think that would be very interesting. One of the reasons why we are pushing that is because, of course, we are talking with more and more clients right now, and they are very curious about the BitShares scalability and the technology that we are using for our applications. And I think for us it would be, and for the whole network, it would be absolutely crazy if we could show them on a live stream how fast we can really go. And this is like, a valuable asset in any kind of negotiation. If you're talking with somebody, if you're talking with a bank or with a partner, and you can show them, this is what we can do today, and with a little bit of modification, this is what we can do tomorrow. It's gonna be a door opener for a lot of different venues for everybody of us. So I'm very excited to kick that off and to give, as you say, a series of stress tests. And it shouldn't be that expensive, to be honest, to do that.
Probably not just for a small amount of time for a big fat server, for example. What I'm looking for that it seems to be missing is something that would help the newbies to get oriented in the stress test testing is just a generalized URL on how to get started with it. It's been a year since I've done it, so I frankly need to know this stuff. And how you participate, what settings you need to put out there for the test net, where the net actually is going to be assembled in terms of IP space or whatever. So all these things, these little minor parameters that most of the people that participate in this probably already know, but I've forgotten it for a year. So it'd be nice to have something that would be just a quick orientation on how to get started.
I would suggest that if the timing works out, you release some results on April Fool's Day, on April 1st, and have people think that it must be an April Fool's joke, and then the joke turns out to be, no, these are real numbers.
Well, you know how that always ended. I think that's not really the best idea.
Yeah, I don't think it's a great idea either, because you're setting yourself up for falsity.
No, I think we should have a really good timeline for that, and we can announce basically results on different dates, but probably not on April the 1st. I was just actually checking. So BitShares.com is still free. We could get that domain, and then we could have all the information there.
That's one way to do it.
Then also, Fox has posted a link here. I just want to get it for the radio show as well. If you go at github.com/RyanRFox/BitShares_testnet, I think you will find all the information you need to get started with participating. So I think that is also a very good source. And Fox is already a big partner of delegating all the testnets and the teams. So he has written down here a full tutorial how to set up a testnet server and how to participate. So this is a really, really good, valuable source.
I just went there. It does look very good. That's kind of what I was hoping to see. So thank you, Fox, for putting that together.
Well, Fuzzy, I didn't buy the domain yet, but we could buy it. It's just €8. BitShares.test.com. I think what you really need, if you want to participate, there is a way, I think Fox is also mentioning that, you can get basically a free server, more or less, at Microsoft Azure. Then you can set up a BitShares, and then you can participate with that node. I'm just not sure how big the node will be. Do we have any dates on that? Okay, Fox is saying so we can choose how big the server should be.
At the moment, it's looking like it's a little hard to tell how high the memory requirements will reach. But at the moment, yeah, I think I'm agreeing with Fox. At the moment, at least 16 gigs, and I think I agree with G Chicken that there's a good chance a machine will require 32 gigabytes of RAM.
That's to be able to realize the maximum test throughput. That's what we're trying to achieve.
Yes.
Well, I think that's very important that if you want to participate, it's good to have a bigger machine, because one of the problems, if you're just joining with a smaller machine, and please correct me if I'm wrong, then basically the bigger machines that are part of the network, they could basically dominate the market and press out all the smaller machines. So if you just have 6 gigabyte in comparison to a 32 gigabyte machine, then the 32 is going to kick you out, basically, because it's generating so much volume that your machine is just breaking down and will not run.
Well, I'm not so sure I agree with Chi Chicken that 8 gigabyte will fall over now. I mean, for the testnet, yes, but as far, I guess I'm looping back to the existing BitShares network. A 4 gigabyte machine is definitely stressed right now. 8 gigabytes should run it no problem right now. But with regard to the testnet, yes, I agree. 32 gigabytes probably minimum if we want to see what that maximum number is going to be.
Would it be possible to have so the testnet will be next week, Wednesday, right? It's going to be at 3 o'clock. Do we know how long it will take to set up a machine like that? If you are inexperienced or experienced, what are the time you need?
It took me to do DNS whenever it was first out. It took me about 8 hours and I was a newbie to it. Like, I knew a little bit of Linux CLI, command line interface, but it wasn't a whole lot, just how to get around and maybe change a few permissions on folders and stuff. And that was pretty much what I knew how to do. And with the guide that we had then, it took me about 8 to 10 hours, somewhere around there. Do we have to do press feeds? Sorry.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, there's roughly two portions for setting up the node. One is actually just setting up the machine itself with zero data, and that's taking in the ballpark of Fox's estimate is around 15 minutes. Perhaps if you're newer, maybe, I don't know, double or triple that. And then there's getting the data, syncing up with the blockchain. One estimate, I'm game with that. Fox is estimating about 4 hours.
Yeah, the majority of the time was syncing the chain. I remember that. I remember sitting and watching it and being like, when are you ready, baby?
So do you guys think it would be possible if we make a mumble session next Tuesday, 3 o'clock, so basically 24 hours before we get started, or maybe at 4, yeah, so that everybody is ready, and then we're going to walk through everybody who wants to participate here on the mumble, and then we can have like a little tutorial, and I think then that would be pretty cool, because on the next day we have enough time, everybody's ready for the big show.
Wow, I would love it.
Yeah, something like that is a good idea.
Will you be here talking, Andrew?
I can't guarantee that day and time.
Oh, man, we'll miss you, buddy.
But I'm sure there will be others.
Fox, would you be able to be here on Tuesday next week? I think
The upcoming Tuesday?
Yeah, that would be next week, Tuesday.
I should be able to make it, barring any unforeseen circumstances. It'll pop up over the weekend here.
Same here. I'll be here.
Well, I can also ask Sirok if he also wants to join. So I think that would be also quite helpful. We just need 1 or 2 experienced people who can really help the newbies to get started.
Well, it would be nice we could ask in Telegram too. Just keep reminding people throughout the week if we've got like 4 or 5 people, reminding people whenever they've got the chance in the BitShares Telegram. I think the last I checked, we had 370 some people in there.
Well, I think that could be like a cool coaching session.
Yeah.
And what we should do, basically, if you do that, do a Google Hangout and film it. Yeah. Not only your face, but also the discussions, and maybe just your screen if you don't have anything sensible on that, because that could be a very nice tutorial for anybody else who want to get started.
You got me on board, man. I'll say that. I know that there are a couple other people in here who are on board, and I'll say that anybody who doesn't know how to run a witness, as more and more chains exist, I think it's silly not to learn.
Well, I think it's surprisingly easy. Like yesterday I was doing a tutorial video for BlockPay. How do you get the money out from your BlockPay account back to your bank account? And the whole process takes right now 7 minutes, and you just have to send the money from block trades to Kraken and then to your bank. Of course, if the Bitcoin is fast enough. But I really had a lot of fun basically to make that video, because it's super simple. You just click open it, and at the end you blur out all the important things like passwords, and you're good to go.
And then say somewhere in there in text, "Dang it, BTC, slowing me down, ...
Bitcoin was so slow for that. Well, the tutorial was horrible.
You gotta love Bitcoin, but you have to recognize that there are things that need to be fixed for large-scale adoption, that's for sure.
After like an hour waiting for the money until it arrives on the exchange, yeah.
We're getting there. Thanks to you guys.
Yeah, so that would be good. I think, Fox, can you create a forum post, please, about next week, Tuesday, that we can announce, and then we're going to talk about that all in Telegram channel. If you want to join us on Telegram, it's telegram.me/BitSharesDEX for decentralized exchange. This is where the community is happening, and that's also a good place to get the latest information. Good. I think that would be a good start to really talk about the stress test. I'm very excited about next week, because this is really another way how we can really max out the network. And as a little goodie, Xerox told me that actually there are 2 different things. If you look at the site for the testnet, there are 2 different kind of information. There is the one information is transactions per second, and the other information is operations per second. And this is something unique in the BitShares ecosystem, that you not only have a transaction, so somebody is sending money from account A to account B, and he's sending 10 BitShares. You can also have, in one transaction, you can have several operations. And in reality, that means if you have basically like a collection of transactions, for example, you're paying out dividends or you're paying out salaries through the BitShares network, and you're paying 100 people a certain kind of amount of BitShares, but all signed with one private key, then you, first of all, you will get a discount. And second of all, of course, you get way more transactions throughput. And in this way, there is basically the opportunity to have more or less like a dirty hack to generate out of the 1,000 transaction we can do already that Zero can basically produce right now. You can put up to 500 operations or even more per transaction. So you are basically you are stretching the whole amount of transactions you can put through, because you can put way more operations in one transaction. And I think he was mentioning you could go up to 40 or 50,000 transactions easily, because this could be all, salary payouts, dividend payout. It could be a smart contract settling of a derivative contract or whatever you want. So actually, the Graphene chain can really do quite a lot of transactions.
And slightly related to that, Fox is bringing up a good point, which is for the stress test, we probably have also an equal demand for not necessarily just witnesses, but also for computers that can generate transactions that are being dumped onto the blockchain. So that would be, if people are looking to assist, that would be another way to assist as well, to actually generate the transactions. There are some scripts that Xerox is preparing, and the demands of that computer, for example, that would just be pushing transactions, would likely be much lower than demands on the witness computer.
That's a very good point. Thank you for pointing that out, because we also, of course, not only need a network who can eat all the transactions, but somebody has to cook it.
Right.
Well stated, Chris.
That's actually a balance that we just need to analyze during the stress test, and if possible, before the stress test.
Is this something that could be run on the same computers that the witnesses are being run on? Or would that interfere in some way that I'm not thinking of?
Yes, it can. And depending on the what's the right way to say this? Depending on how powerful that computer is.
Oh, okay. So it's really a matter of resources.
Well, the Fox and iHash for this, you better have this separated. So you have one machine that is a witness node, and then you have somebody who is generating all the transactions. So you separate that, and that's going to be a more balanced load for the machines. Just to give maybe for listeners a good overview how much money you would need to invest if you want to participate. If you want to rent like a 32 gigabyte machine, as far as I know, for 1 month, it's like up to 50 euros or maybe 60 for a bigger machine. So if you want to get like, a really nice machine, I think you're joining the whole thing for under $100. So it's not really expensive. It's really something that can give you a lot of joy and fun for $100. So think about it.
Sorry, not only that, but you don't have to rent it for an entire month. You depending on the service provider that you select, you could just rent it for an hour or two or 5 or 10 or however many hours you want. So most of these services are available by the hour in many cases.
Can you recommend a couple of these service providers?
Well, I mean, the big ones, Amazon Web Services, DigitalOcean, those are a couple that I'm sure is going to be based on an hourly rate as opposed to a monthly rate. You can do either one, but I rent my server space, at least on half of my nodes, is done on a hourly basis. I'm not familiar with Microsoft Azure, so I don't really know how they go about things. But as far as just your ISPs out there in general, your hosting providers out there in general, there's many that provide hourly based rates.
Well, that sounds pretty good. So you can have basically a lot of fun for a little bit of money.
Fox is saying Azure is billed at a 5-minute rate, by the way, Chris.
Okay, that is good.
So yeah, I mean, how long do you think that this would be running? Probably about an hour, 2 hours?
I think it's hard to say. I would estimate probably 3 to 4, because at the beginning, you have to coordinate everything that you just not destroy the whole network with big load, and then not everybody's ready yet. So that's why I think the coordination is very important, and that's why all stream on the mumbles would be very important, so that all participants can talk about what to do, what's next. This needs to be coordinated.
One thing that I think has been addressed here that's new since I was doing this before was deployment strategies. There's ways to deploy where you don't have to take all the time to set up a script or something to go from a flat, brand new 1604 installation to what it needs to be locked down or reasonably locked down for a test operation. So there's deployment strategies that I think will be really good, and hopefully I'll find one of them. And for example, the Microsoft Azure, I think, is one way that you can deploy everything set up just exactly where it needs to be for getting ready for a testnet node.
Yeah, it's deployment, and Fox also is mentioning that you need to basically vote in or remove witnesses. So I think the best tool to coordinate that all would be Mumble, right? Or you want to join a Discord channel, or you want to jump on a Google Hangout.
Well, I myself would like to see a voice chat. Mumble would be perfect as far as I'm concerned personally, but Telegram is hard to keep up with, and it scrolls so fast. When you're doing a test, you need something more than text. Text is important to get the cut and paste problems down. But you got that with Mumble. So I think Mumble would be a perfect channel to be able to talk in real time, and that gets people up to speed much faster than dealing with text and forum posts.
Okay, I think that's I think we already have a decision here that we're gonna meet all together next week on Mumble, and then you guys can coordinate it, and maybe Fuzzy, you can moderate it a little bit, because I'm gonna be on a conference next week, but I'm gonna be listening in, and it would be really good if we have that somehow recorded, so that we can show to other people as well.
Chris, there's one point that G Chicken brings up, which is if there's anyone, the blockchain right now has a maintenance interval for it to consider new witnesses. And if it is currently set at 24 hours, then, and if there's a new person that's just joining on Tuesday, at that time, that we were speaking about, it might not be enough time for a brand new witness to be available for the test on the following day.
Well, isn't it true that that's a committee parameter? So that's something that could be changed during the test, actually. We could shorten it down to every 15 minutes as a maintenance window.
Yes, if that's the case, then you're correct. So
I
then
think that's the case. I'm not positive, but I think that is indeed the case. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that'll be fine.
No,
Okay,
I think
and Fox said yes, that Xerox will adjust this. So then, okay, so that concern should not be an issue then.
Yeah, I think that can be easily upgraded. Yeah. All right, I think that sounds pretty good. I'm really, really excited, and I think Fuzzy is also jumping up and down. I can see that in the chat room already. I would move over to the next topic that I'm also very excited about, and that is a couple of weeks ago, I think already, we had a new member in the Telegram channel. His name is Ether Design, and he was doing a lot of different designs, website designs, interface designs for a couple of blockchain events, and now he is supporting us and helping us to create a new unique design for the Lite client, but also for the raw web wallet from BitShares. That is available under bitshares.org/wallet. You can find the wallet there, the online wallet. And on the forum, Faf already made a post about it. And here, a big thank you for Faf to organize it all. He is the initiator of that project. And I would like to invite everybody to participate in the discussion on the forum, to give feedback about the new designs, about the new ideas. It's part of it redesign. It is the withdraw and deposit window, of course, that needs a lot of work. And also a couple part of that will be colors. There will be extra buttons for help and explore. So a lot of stuff is already happening. Also a couple of new pop-up windows and so on. I would like to get a couple of your feedback now. What do you think about the new designs and how we can participate to support?
My client seemed to have disconnected briefly, so I didn't catch anything of what you just said, other than that you're talking about the new software and the new client face. So do you have a link that points to a new example of that?
Sure, the link, just put it in the chat. You will find it also in the forum under the general discussions, feedback needed. And I think so. Ether Design right now is basically providing the drawings, and SVK is already partly implementing them. So if you are on the new wallet already, you can see the differences, what is happening, and there's a lot of cool stuff coming up. So I think that's really exciting.
One thing that I think I noticed from reading the forums is that Johnny Bitcoin has called for using Chrome is the best browser to use, and I know from using Firefox that things don't look quite the way I think they should look. Whether they're intended that way, I don't know, but I don't care for the designs that I've seen most recently, last couple of weeks ago on Firefox. But I need to install Chrome and see how much better it looks. I really would prefer that it be more browser agnostic if possible, but I understand that it can be difficult to achieve that. So it's up to however SVK wants to address that issue.
I'm not sure about the current limitations. What is the problem with Firefox?
It's just recommended for Chrome. The GUI's developed for Chrome first and foremost. And don't forget, there's an open source version of Chrome, which is Chromium. It's the open source thing you're worried about. So I know SVK develops it for Chrome. I know other browsers do work, like Safari works with a few bugs, and obviously Firefox does. It's primarily written to work with them.
Well, I think Chrome is or Google Chrome is the preferred browser for the web wallets. But I think there are a couple of problems if you use it, for example, for Firefox or also for Safari for Macs. I think it's part of the technology why it's not really working that good. But I'm not sure what really the problem is.
You should get a warning when you first open the web wallet in a browser which isn't Chrome and say, we don't recommend this browser, move to Chrome.
Well, you get that, but the question is, why do you get that? Why is Firefox not a good browser to use the web wallet?
I guess it's because SVK's tested it, and when he tests it and makes sure it's bug-free and stuff, he's testing with Chrome.
And testing is a horrendous issue for a user interface, so that's probably more the reality than anything of the underlying technology is his ability to focus on the tests and make sure everything works really well for various use cases. It's a big task, so if because of testing requirements he's focusing on one browser, that's certainly understandable, and it's good that we warn people that this is how in fact we've tested it, so it gives us the most assurance when you use that browser as opposed to others which may work but may not be fully tested in the same manner that it is under the Chromium or Chrome.
So it's basically...
Another thing is the Light Wallet itself is basically a web browser where all the JavaScript is held locally. So it's like a stripped down web browser. And I guess that stripped down web browser is based on Chromium.
So basically it's just a time issue to test it on Firefox as well.
That's what I'm hearing. So over time, we could get equal coverage everywhere, I guess. That's one good thing to note about if that is indeed the limitation, or if there's something that SVK knows and he's coded around various API anomalies because of them being present in Safari, Firefox, or these other browsers. But I don't know if that's the case. We just need more input as to exactly what the issue is, whether it's a matter of just testing time or whether it's a matter of limitations in the APIs or whatever. I kind of don't think that's the case right now, but with the modern browser technology, but I could be wrong.
I think there was a problem with the topic of the backups and how the backups are stored in the cache of the browser. I think that in Firefox that didn't really work so well, especially not in Safari. So that's why these browsers they need extra coding work to work.
Yeah, and that's a really important issue. I mean, we want to make sure if anything's solid, it's the backups. So if cookies or however they're storing the backups, if they're encryption for the backups, all that kind of thing is not working really well and reliably, then yeah, that's something that you want to make sure you warn users about for sure.
Do we have some expert input on here on this topic? Fox, do you know a little bit more about that so that we can have a solid answer?
So I don't know specifically about the issues, but I will be curious to ask SVK about what issues that he's aware of.
Okay.
In terms of going back to your discussion about the appearance of the new web wallet, I think the improvements are beneficial in my opinion, in that it's a cleaner and simpler interface, and that trend I think is helpful.
Well, I saw a couple of other drawings where the whole thing is very colorful, so I'm excited to see more of the designs to come out and further improvements. I mean, like if you saw the eDinar website, I don't know if you checked that out. I mean, eDinar is a MLM multi-level marketing copy of the BitShares blockchain, but they heavily changed the interface of the exchange. And it's quite interesting to see basically what is possible and what kind of different designs you could apply, but still maintaining basically the core functions of the block. So I'm really looking forward to get more designs, different exchanges who are starting to build on BitShares, and to showcase what you can do. And I think it's really a great initiative from FAF to get this started and to work on a better design here.
Are you talking about, for example, that Uphold web design that you posted earlier?
Yeah, that is on the forum. Somebody posted here. Mike was putting up a picture here from Uphold. What I don't like on Uphold is these big credit cards, basically with the different currencies. I think that is pretty much a waste of space. But that's just one thing.
The style
In
is
the
nice,
latest
though.
BitShares.org/wallet, SVK's moved BitUSD to the front of the tabs, the first tab or the tab on the left. So it gives more to BitUSD, which is obviously good for liquidity.
That is a good point. I think like we really have to focus on the liquidity issues and think about ways how we can improve that.
And also, I think worth considering just in general that there are different users with different interests. And so to the extent that's possible, and this was kind of discussed last week, it might be appropriate to have different modes for different types of users that would display different types of information and actions.
Well, but I think that would be more a topic for different startups and companies who are presenting different use cases, because I think we all have to consider that the wallet is basically it's a showcase. You know, it shows what kind of things you can do. It has everything inside, but over the long term, of course, you're going to have more specialized wallets, and it's coming with a business case for each project.
Yeah, essentially it's like a reference wallet that does all the features, but other people are going to make custom wallets that strip out some of those features and make it...
Yeah, that's correct.
Just going back to liquidity 1 second, we always talk about how no one's creating any BitUSD and like creating it by shorting it into existence. So BitCrab, this has created 20 grand's worth of BitUSD, and we're selling it at 1-to-1 for USD Tether. So if anybody can fill his order, that would be really good, because that 20k of BitUSD added to our kind of liquidity, really.
One problem I'm having at the moment is that when I go to BitShares.org/wallet, I see a list of the WebSocket servers out there, but I don't seem to be able to connect to any of them. I'm not sure what's up with that.
The latest version is, if you're talking about connecting, when you go to BitShares.org/wallet, sometimes it doesn't work and it doesn't connect, and you needed to choose an API or a full node, which has been renamed to on the GUI. You choose a full node which is more reliable or is closer to you or faster, and connect to that. But I think SVK in the latest version of the web wallet, it actually cycles through different full nodes, and if you've got one that drops off or is being slow, I think it moves to another one. That's the idea.
That would be a great addition to have. So far it seems to be striking out on all of them, apparently, if that's implemented currently.
Okay, but I think we are moving here basically forward, and the best way how to participate here is to go to the forum. Actually, I got one question. Maybe you know that more about that. When I up the wallets and I'm opening up the troll box, usually the troll box is empty. Is that an issue with my side, or is that general?
Yeah, it seems to be pretty quiet a lot of the time. I mean, there's different chat boxes now. If you go to openledger.io, OpenLedger have implemented their own kind of chat room based on something called Talk.2. Well, actually, I'm on there at the moment. It's got both troll boxes. Well, 2 chat rooms. In fact, one of them's a live support button, and the other one is a troll box. But yeah, generally the troll box is pretty quiet. We did find a way of moving. We found a website about a week ago which would let you put the Telegram chat built into a website. I think SVK looked at the code and it wasn't secure enough or something. But that would have been cool. Oh, someone's just said hello in the troll box.
Well, I'm just wondering because sometimes when I open up the wallet, is it the Lite client or the web wallet, I have like a history of chat messages, and then I see like somebody asking a question, so I jump in and answer the question, but it's probably like 1 or 2 days old. But sometimes it's totally empty, and then I'm a little bit sad because like, oh, there's nothing going on, and I really want to provide. So I was wondering, why do I have sometimes a full message box and sometimes it's totally empty? What is it? Is it a bug or what is this?
I think it's just not used very much. Like you can see the timestamp on a lot of the questions or hellos, and they are like 6 hours old. So there's just not enough people using it. If we could have the whole Telegram chat room where there's 350 of us like as part of the exchange, that would be good. It would show how busy and active BitShares really is.
I hate to insert myself.
This is an example of a feature that was heavily requested, and yet we don't see people using it. And this is why it's really important to know your demographic. And I'm not sure if there's a difference between when this feature was requested, which it was seemingly requested all throughout the development leading up to the release of BitShares 2, over a year ago now, or whether or not the same users are around, but they don't like it for some reason. That's a total mystery to me.
Couldn't this chat be shared across multiple dexes as these specialized exchanges do pop up? You might have somebody who's on OpenLedger and then another person who's on BitCapital or another person who's on AppTrades, and they're all on the same chat, perhaps. Would that be possible?
Well, if you have different chat rooms, basically, or you link it to Telegram and then you have different Telegram links, then you can basically hop between the channels, right?
Yeah, I think that Johnny said that SVK said that the Telegram chat was not secure, though. So I was just curious if there was an alternative that offered something similar, because if that's the case, then we leverage what you guys were just talking about, which I say we leverage at every possible stretch if we can.
What keeps people from not using I mean, it seems a lot from a logical, functional standpoint that people that use the Telegram chat box could just as easily hop over and use the Light Wallet chat box or whatever the Ledger chat box would be. But people don't want to do that for whatever reason. This gets into idiosyncrasies of people's behavior more than I think anything, or preferences. So maybe some people can't run the Light client for whatever reason, or can't access the OpenLedger wallet or wherever the chat box is. We decide is the designated chat box to talk about these things. People just don't want to use it or can't use it for whatever reason, can't connect, hasn't got good throughput. I don't know.
Well, I think the topic is sometimes you're on the road and you can use Telegram apps to chat with everybody, but you wouldn't open the Lite client on your mobile phone because it sucks a lot of data. If you have it on, for example, if you do a phone hotspot and I use the Lite client, it's super heavy.
Yeah, I can see it from that standpoint. It's a hell of an overkill for just chatting, that's for sure.
Yeah, chatting and tipping might be a different story, right?
Well, that would be a good combination, because if you use your name, like a lot of people, they don't really figure it out yet how to create the name and to have the account name. But if I want to send, for example, now iHash Furry a message, it would be super simple.
True.
Of course, the more secure way to do it is if you want to chat to someone who's on the BitShares blockchain, just send them one BTS, and then in the memo, write whatever message you want, and you're fully encrypted and safe.
And to piggyback on that, Stealth would offer something where you'd actually have it encrypted to the point where nobody could even read it, right?
Well, that already exists with the current memo system. You just send somebody a little fraction of a bit share and just write whatever you want in the memo box. And if you write loads and loads and loads of text, you get charged per kilobyte, I think.
But nobody would be able to read that?
Well, not your memo field. I mean, like if you send like one BitShares in the memo field, you send up like a small text message or any kind of more sensitive data. Of course, that is encrypted as long as you don't share the memo key of your account with the public. Then, of course, you can use it as a very secure mailing system. It just costs you $1 per message.
So one penny.
1 penny per message, yeah. But as always, you can send it. Maybe you can use it for like temporary passwords or something. But the moment the global encryption is broken, of course, these memos are also public. So keep that please in mind that you should only share data that you really can easily change again. Like if you send passwords, of course, you can update the password after a while.
And you're talking about like the Vault 7 stuff where encryption has been? Is that what you're talking about? Where encryption standards might be? We might be finding that some of these are actually have intentional holes in them and things like that.
No, it's more like with, if you have quantum computing technologies,
Yeah.
then all of encryption is worthless. So you basically open up everything that was ever encrypted with this technology, and then everything is public. Huh? So, for example, I would not share a private key to an account or to your reserve account over that. That there are better ways to do that, probably in person. But if you want to share like your Steam posting key, then this is a very good solid way to do it, better than an email.
We don't have the same level of
encryption.
encryption.
The backup of your account, and then so when you download the .bin file, you could open that in a text editor, copy that text, and send it from one account to another.
But isn't it true that
You've got backup on the blockchain forever, as long as you've got access to the account that message was sent to?
Well, Johnny, is it true that the level of encryption available in the memo field is quite different between BitShares and Steam?
I don't know. I was asking in the Telegram chat yesterday, and I don't know if you tech people jumped in and said, yeah, it's as good as PGP.
In Steam, you mean?
I don't know about Steam. I just know about. I was just talking about how safe memo data is, if like with messaging and across the BitShares network.
Okay, so you simply have to use an out-of-band mechanism to communicate the unlock key, so that the people you send that private information to can, in fact, unlock it, and nobody else could.
Yeah, I was talking about like if you've got two BitShares account that you own yourself, and you want to send a backup of one of the accounts to another account, just put it in the memo. You could copy and paste the text from your .bin file.
Yeah, that's a perfectly reasonable approach, and then you're the only one that has the key, and so obviously it's very secure. I mean, if it's encrypted and the keys are the mechanism for encryption, which I'm sure they are, then that seems like a perfectly safe way to create a backup for yourself or to transfer from one account to another. Sure. And
even if they could read it, and it's encrypted anyway, so even if it does get cracked, they can't access it without your password as well. So that's why I've got a bunch of accounts, and I'm getting the .bin files from them, and then copy and pasting that text and sending it to another account that I own. So I know I've got one account that's got all the backups in. I just have to remember the password for that one.
I wonder if KenCode has considered using that as a mechanism for backup for the stealth feature. Obviously you want to distribute it, and that would be one way to do it. I know he's focused on the interplanetary file system. I wonder if that was an approach he considered or not.
Yeah, I'm not technical enough to understand it fully, so.
All right, but as far as I know, that SUK is already working on improving the chat. I think it would be really cool if you could have the Telegram chat as a troll box, because then everybody could really see, okay, the community is alive. There's a lot of stuff happening. And I don't know if it could show all the all the memes we had last week in the meme war, but I think that would be really fun.
Yeah, that would certainly show a lot of activity, no doubt about that.
Johnny Bitcoin, you're working here with SUK on that, right?
Working with SUK on what specifically?
On the integration of the Telegram chat in the Lite client?
No, we had I found a website where someone else had done what we want to do, basically. So they'd got a bit of code that allowed any Telegram chat, so the one that we have, to be kind of relayed and shown on the BitShares wallet. And then I think iHash Fury was trying to work it out with SVK, and in the end it was decided it wasn't safe enough. So that's not going to happen unless, well, yeah.
What was the topic of not being safe? Because Telegram is encrypted, but the chatbot is not encrypted?
I don't know the specifics of it.
Yeah, if it's a one-way direction where you're just going into the troll box, I don't see why there would be safety there. But again, I'm not in the code, so I can't judge it. So I guess we'll have to defer to what we've heard so far unless we hear more clarifying information.
It's actually like a web chat. I mean, like, I don't really understand how the Trollbox works, but it's more or less like just a HTML chat protocol, right? It's just a website where the chat is running. Can we not just use the Telegram web?
Well, that would be my understanding, but my understanding perhaps is too thin.
We could ask SVK again, see what he says, because it would be good. I'm sure we'd all love it. And then you wouldn't
please
need to
do,
have
yeah.
both tabs open. I could just have one tab open and chat in the Telegram and trade in one window.
I wonder if it has anything to do with, well, if you basically take the thread of traffic in Telegram and make it visible in the Lite client, for example, would people that are on the Lite client want to interact with that? Would they expect interactivity with the Telegram, which is the source of this information? That's a question to ask. Because in that regard, I think I can see where security would be a concern if they wanted to actually provide a portal, if you will, to Telegram from the troll box. Then I can see where that might be indeed a lot more problematic to implement that. But as a mechanism just to see activity, though, from Telegram into the troll box, I think it would be a great thing to show people that there's an active community here. Now, getting connected to it might be another matter.
Maybe we just need a bot who's picking up all the communication in the chat and the troll box, and it's just copy-pasting that in the Telegram and vice versa.
Yeah, even if it just takes the current Telegram feed and relays it into the current troll box, that would be good.
So basically, it's just a bot that is copy and pasting left and right. One more thing I would be interesting to know before we are almost finished with the show. Would it be possible to have like a script in the troll box that prevents you to copy private key? So if you want to post something with, with a 5, starting with a 5, and then has the characteristics or length of a private key, and then it will say like, no, please don't.
Maybe I would imagine there's got to be some way of making a custom script or something that reads through it. It would be custom work, though, I bet.
No, I'm just wondering because sometimes I saw in the Trollbox some people who are looking for their public key, and somehow they found out after like 20 minutes of search their public key. I'm like totally shocked how they found that. I mean, like I know where it's not really needed, so I could imagine some people are accidentally posting sensitive stuff in the chat. So it would be cool if there's some kind of mechanism that is helping them.
Make it as easy as possible for everybody to use and not screw up.
All right, I think with that note, thank you very much, Fuzzy, for summarizing everything. This is the goal. We want to go and move forward. I'm very excited about next week, about the stress test. I'm looking forward that we're going to have a little introduction round on Tuesday. For everybody who wants to participate, please take a look in the forum. On Wednesday, we're going to have the big show, so please participate here in the Mumble, join the live stream. I think that's going to be a lot of fun to really see how many transactions we can get through. And also give us feedback about the designs. If you have a couple of ideas, if you have a good feeling about colors, please join us here as well. And I'm looking forward to find a solution for the Trollbox, because I think that would be really, really of tremendous value if you could link the Trollbox with the Telegram channel, because most of the fun is really in the Telegram and the Trollbox. The people who are on the exchange, and sometimes quite a lot. In the past, I think we had like 200 people just being online in that moment. I think they would really benefit of a really active community, and that would double or triple our activities in the chat room. So basically nobody has time to read all this stuff, but I think that would be a really cool problem to have. All right, guys, thank you very much for this week. I'm looking forward to talk to all of you next week in another episode 12 for the BitShares Mumble here on Beyond Bitcoin. Thank you very much, guys. See you around.